Hey, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Lauren. I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. I don't even know. I forgot which one I was up, so I'm just going to pull a Gemini. Now, if you're new to the channel, anything that you need to know about the channel, you can find in the description box below, such as how to, how to book a personal reading, my website link. I got a lot of free blogs. I got a lot of free resources. I have a radio show. I have other YouTube channels. So everything that you can find actually through my website link. I think that that's easier than actually going through the whole description box. But you know what? All the separate links are there too. Now, I always have a giveaway. Today, I'm going to offer a free psychic reading. All you need to do is, if you want to enter into winning a free psychic reading with me, is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave the word grieve. Grieve. I'm sad. I'm sad because my friend is sick. So I'm going to use the word grieve. So on this channel, we talk about psychological and emotional aspects of ourself that block us from manifesting. We talk about integrating the shadow parts of self, turning spiritual wounds into spiritual gifts. This way, we can evolve into higher states of consciousness, which means that we can always be in a state of unconditional love. When we are at the highest state of consciousness, we are actually at the same vibration as God, as the same vibration as what the universe is. And when we have spiritual wounds, we actually are a lower vibration. And we're a lower vibration because our character will manifest out the spiritual blocks of behaviorisms and habits, again, that block us from health, wealth, and all around emotional fulfillment, because again, those things are on a high vibration, right? Because you would consider those things to bring unconditional love. Oh, that would make me so happy. That would make me feel so content. Again, is when we feel that we can't have them. And when we live experiences that are traumatizing, we subconsciously form these beliefs, these core beliefs that become part of ourselves. But that's not who we are. If we are holding on to the spiritual blocks, then there's a part of our character that's actually missing, our true self. Our true self. And our true self is what God intended you to be. So when we have beliefs that we can't financially make it, well, again, that's out of alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, and the laws of nature. God says, you're in my image. I made you in my image. So there is no separation. You are creating the separation. So on this channel, I do talk about soulmate twin flames because you have to, because your soulmate twin flame is going to show you, is going to mirror all your blocks, all your spiritual wounds. If you want to learn how to balance the relationship, you would want to learn how to integrate those wounds. Are we going to talk about money? Of course, we're going to talk about money, but understand money has no energy except for the energy that you're giving it. So again, if you don't feel like you're worthy, if you don't feel like you're good enough, if you don't feel like you bring anything to the table, then that becomes an imbalance. So we usually see people that can have an imbalance in one area in life and not in another. And then we have people that have spiritual blocks all across the board. So I know I came from a family that has spiritual blocks all across the board. And it didn't mean that they weren't good people. My dad was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. And he was brilliant. He skipped grades in school, but he didn't love himself. He didn't believe in himself. He, again, felt inadequate because of his sensitivity. Again, feeling so deep. and then, doing what other people wanted him to do instead of what he wanted to do. He never invested enough to find out what he wanted to do. So he was very easily influenced, even though he skipped grades in school. But he sabotaged himself, because that's what comes when you have spiritual blocks. You sabotage yourself. My mom, you would have thought she was the life of the party. Everybody loved her, except for her own children and her husband, because she was a tyrant. Everything was a spiritual trigger. Everything. And she was emotional, and she channeled that out all the time, to the point that my father had cancer. And he didn't get cancer once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. He had not just 8 times cancer. He had every single thing. He had 2 hip replacements. He had upper lower back surgery. Because that's what happens. Spiritual wounds turn into physical imbalances, because that's the last stop. Everything that happens in the spiritual realm happens long after it has already been in the spiritual realm for a long time. Your mind is the spiritual realm. And understand, people don't understand that you have to be very mindful of the thoughts that you think about yourself. You have to be very mindful, especially today, because there's a spiritual war that's happening. Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you that there's a spiritual war that's happening. And it's trying to steal your consciousness. That's what it's trying to do. It's trying to steal your spiritual sovereignty. That's what it's trying to do. Which means if someone else takes your spiritual sovereignty, you won't be able to manifest the life that you want to have for yourself. Someone else is going to tell you how to live. And see, why is this happening right now? Well, because too many people feel that way. And not because anyone was doing it, but because emotionally they were being manipulated. They didn't surround themselves with people that, wanted their best, were interested in that person's best interest, in your best interest, maybe. So understand, only God can change your mind and your heart. And that's through bringing you people, situations, and experiences that are going to do so. So unless you find yourself, create yourself, you're just going to be stuck with those wounds forever. Is that what you want? Because I don't want that. The kingdom of heaven's inside of you. You can imagine it, you can create it. The universe does it. The law of attraction tells us that. So understand. It only takes a mustard seed. God makes them multiply. Let's see, what questions would Spirit want us to ask? Ta-da! What advice can help me love myself more? Let's see. Because everybody's like, what they consider love is different. So we have to start in a place of understanding what unconditional love is. We know that it's kind, it's patient, doesn't keep score. So how can you love yourself more? Greedy. Oh, look at that. You see my screen underneath it. So I'm just going to tell you the words. I'm not going to hold them up. Greedy. So you may feel like you don't have enough. And when you really have enough, you have to start in a place of gratitude, that means. And so it's very easy to get caught up in what the environment tells us, right? It's very easy to get caught up and become part of your environment. But really, it tells us not to do that. We're supposed to be in the world without becoming a part of it. And the way that we do that is by becoming ourselves. When we feel we need outside things, we never feel 100, like to fulfill us, to emotionally fulfill us, to feel satisfied. We're never going to achieve that on our own. You can overshop, overdo, and you will, it's like trying to stuff down, your emotions. That's what it feels like. You're never satisfied. People eat because they're bored. People smoke because they don't know what to do with their time. People hang out and hang around people that aren't good for them because they're bored. They don't have anything else to do. So that will never feel fulfilling over time. You have to, again, feed yourself. So it's by becoming yourself. You don't become, otherwise you would become greedy because, again, like there's a lot of hours in a day. You'd go off to work, someone would tell you what to do for work. Then you'd again go home, and the people that you love, everyone has expectation of what they want you to do for them, even though you may love them unconditionally and they love you unconditionally. You don't know what you've taught those people by not really creating yourself, by just doing to please other people. When you only live to please other people, then there's a sense of feeling, oh, it's okay that I go out and I overspend. It's okay that I, kind of live above my means, or go out to eat all the time and overeat. I need to feel satisfied. When really it's, again, no, what happens is it's that you're actually, your character becomes out of balance. You become greedy without knowing it. So we have to start in a place of gratitude, but how can we really be in a place of gratitude if we don't like our life? So you have to do what you love. So that's what Spirit is saying. Anything else? Omniscience. Again, I said I wasn't going to hold up the card, but I couldn't help it. And that really is to feel really connected to the universe, to know that you're one, not just with the universe, but with God, that God made you in his image, in its image, because it's not a he. And which means that you can create your life. And by creating your life, you become in the world without becoming a part of it. And this card was just phased over, and that is not odd. It didn't do it this time. Spirit descending. And that is when, again, you ground the spirit within inside of you by, again, creating. So really that is what Spirit is saying. That's how you can get more happiness, more love, how you can love yourself more. Because what happens is we feel that we need to overdo and overhave certain things within our life because we don't feel fulfilled. But really, the fulfillment is love, when we feel complete. And so how can we be in a constant state of love? Because we know that we can't get it from, our partner all the time. You can't get it from your parents all the time. It doesn't mean that they don't love you all the time. What it means is their love may not be fulfilling all the time, or things happen. Sometimes no one's perfect. So how can you maintain the highest level? And that's really by grounding your spirit. You can't ground your spirit unless you're creating yourself, and you definitely cannot feel part of the world, interactive with the world. I mean, you can't be in the world without becoming a part of the world, without, like I said, having a passion of your own. And when you, again, are filled with passion, you're not greedy. It's technically impossible to be greedy. So that was just a little, like, again, spiritual message, because I always like to do the spiritual message first. And then let's look and see, what are the spiritual energies between you and your person if you have, again, a significant other? Again, greedy. As like it's like greedy again. So it's like, okay, I feel like in actuality, you both are not getting anything from each other. Nothing. I feel like you're in separation and there's a need at this point. Like you're in separation. And I feel like also you're in separation because your person didn't really want to make a decision, didn't really want to make a choice, didn't want to make a choice about whether they wanted to be single, whether they wanted to be connected to a past karmic, or whether they wanted to be with you. They don't. So there's a sense of, again, that this person is looking for a lot of things outside of themselves to feel fulfilling because they don't even know. Again, because we would know what unconditional love was if we were doing what we loved. So this person is very confused. So if you're in separation from a person, it's because they don't know they don't know what choice they want to make. So I would recommend not entertaining this because you won't be respected if you do. Or you will become this person's fixer because again, if you don't know who you are, then you become codependent because then you look for it outside yourself. You're looking to still fulfill yourself, which is probably why I pulled that spiritual message. Okay, oh, they're in a dark night of the soul. They're in a dark night of the soul. And so I think that obviously they're realizing that the way that they live, again, by being greedy, because again, there's a karmic there. And so they don't love that person, but I believe that they promised them a lot. They have obligations with this person. Maybe they have children together. And so they're in a dark night of the soul because they weren't really fulfilled. This person is greedy because they don't really know who they are. And that's why, again, I pulled that spiritual message, but it's whatever facade they were building that satisfied their ego has crumbled because you wouldn't be in a dark night of the soul. And now they're overstimulated. They have a lot of anxiety because, again, they're in a state of fear. So now, if you feel like that this person's your soulmate twin flame, then you need to ask yourself, are you confident in yourself? Because remember, you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. Diplomacy, and I feel like you've raised your vibration. I feel like at one time, you and this person were on the same vibration. And I feel like you've done healing. They're in the process of doing healing because that's what a dark night of the soul is. However, they're very overstimulated. So when we're overstimulated is because our nervous system is in fight, flight, or freeze. And that's because they're either in their head thinking about what might happen, or they were stuck in the past about what they did and how they lived, and they're judging themselves. And so I feel like, again, they want to live from a higher level of consciousness because, again, I pulled diplomacy, but I was thinking about you. And being that I was thinking about you, I feel like, you've done healing. You want to be in a better place. And your person is overstimulated and probably also overstimulated because you guys have been in separation. one more from this deck. The Genius. Yeah, this person is, again, healing. And they're healing because the Genius is all about the creative genius and self. So when we get in bad situations and we want to finally get out of bad situations, there's a process. And there's a process that when we're living in fight, flight, or freeze, we're kind of doing things from a reactionary standpoint. It's the best way that I can explain it is the poem Footprints, when we say, oh, I don't know how I got through that situation, right? The poem Footprints says there's two footprints in the sand, and the one set of footprints, but there's only after a certain period of time where there's hard spots within the life. He turns to God and he says, how come there's only one set of footprints here? Why is it every single time I went through a hard period of time, you abandoned me? There's only one set of footprints. Those were my footprints. And God says, no, they were my footprints. I carried you. So when we are in a state of fight, flight, or freeze, we're not really conscious. We're just kind of doing things from a reactionary standpoint. But the universe does, which by the way is God, conspires to bring you exactly what you need. Is it what you want? No, but it's what you need. And so this person is living kind of in survival mode right now, and they're overstimulated. But they're gonna get through it because, again, of that spirit part of self. And the spirit part of self always brings you to exactly what you need. So let's see again about the wounds between you and this person, because they are going through a lot right now. And so are they thinking about you? Most likely not. But are you thinking about them? Yes, you are, because again, there is a spiritual connection. Search. So I know that there, and I think that you're also searching to see whether this person is okay. You're searching to see whether they still have feelings for you. And I think that's because you don't feel them the way that you normally do, because our soulmate twin flames, we have an ESP connection to that person. And so when you can't feel them, you're like, oh, I guess they don't care about me or love me. So this person's in survival mode. So they're not thinking about anybody except for themselves. Insecure, afraid of losing what they have, so not feeling safe in their life. And this person is learning to have faith, because I felt like they were, again, connected to a karmic, and they really, again, they may have children, so they might even be married, but if they but because this person does not love that karmic, it's almost like it's a business. It comes across almost like a business living thing, but there's children involved. So your person is like built a facade of who they were on what they have. And this is why they were greedy. So again, they're in a tower moment, the dark night of the soul. That means, that tower has fallen, and what's left is whatever was good, whatever could be salvaged from your person's life, and not much was salvaged. And a lot of that meant relationships, not just things, not just material things, but friendships. And then again, how they look at themselves. So there's not much that was salvaged. Defensive. So, and there's a sense of also like they were very defensive to you. And I feel like they were defensive to anyone for a long time about their behavior because people told them about their behavior. So with you, like I said, I feel like you do search for them, and I do feel like they search for you as well. Um, but they're insecure. They don't know what to do. That karmic has them. And almost just has them because whatever they were involved in, maybe there's money, like a business I'm talking about, that they share together, they share kids together. Obviously divorce is expensive, so again, and it's moving into the unknown. So let me see, what are their hidden truths about you, Gemini? Because right now it's like it's all about them, or you, if this resonates more with you, Gemini. But this could be you that's going through this. Let's take a look and see what are the hidden truths between you and your person. What do they feel about you? I know that I crossed the line with you. Well, they sure seem to have crossed the line with everybody because they were like living more from their ego. Again, from a superficial way. This is why I'm saying when we value possessions and outside things more than connection, it means that we don't form enough of an emotional bond to care, to be present, to pay attention to how we're treating other people. And that's what I feel like the person feels. You speak to me through music. So again, they're searching for you, and subconsciously they're everything's reminding them of you. Well, that's how the universe conspires to like tell us to talk to us. And again, whatever's good and that could be salvaged is what remains. And I feel like your person still feels the connection between you and them. And they actually find it very comforting. So part of them wants to run into you, but part of them is also, I'm afraid. I want you. You can do that. Because again, especially now, because they're in turmoil. So do. So what are your hidden truths about them? I'm going to put these cards back in just because I want to see what your hidden truths are about them. Just being near you is intoxicating. I feel like there's again that, again, I feel like you both actually feel butterflies around each other and get really nervous and like almost like a teenager, like young love, like puppy love. I'm starting to understand our connection. I feel like this is your person still. It could be you too, Gemini, like where you're like starting to understand the importance of the connection because you can still feel them. And you see that what remains is the connection, that it couldn't be broken, um, even though your person like screwed up maybe. And again, they're seeing it because know that they messed up and they can say that you're still there, that you still have feelings for them. So they're learning about love. You and this person might have experienced abandonment, and that doesn't necessarily mean that parents weren't there or a lover walked out on you, but you could have had family that should have been around you during certain times in your life and they weren't, or again, relationships that should have worked out but didn't. So again, fear of like abandonment. So when we have experienced that, then again, there's a sense that we can't really have love. There's a belief that we can't have love. So I feel like your person, again, didn't believe that they could have love. And that's why I said you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So maybe you also felt like you couldn't have love, and really what God is showing you, which is the, again, the unconditional love is showing you you can have love. You just have to you have to understand what love is. That it's not ownership. That there's no rules involved. That it just is. And we have that with people in our life. And I feel like that's again the spiritual healing that's coming from that. Again, look at this. You both want each other. Again, not uncommon for soulmate twin flames, okay? Because again, it's the passion, which is that it helps that energetic cord when you both are in separation. That's why I say the heart grows fonder to when there's separation. So this person is like, they want you. You want them rather. They also want you. So it's again both. I know I was a distraction from your pain. Okay, so this is what like you actually are a distraction from their pain. So you to have an ESP connection, which is again through the heart and mind. Soulmate twin flames have that. And it's built on unconditional love. That's why when you meet a person, you're like, oh, I know that they were for me. However, you still need to train your person on how you want to be treated. And yes, I did say it like that because we teach people how we want to be treated. And I say train because people come into your life and they're going to treat you the way that they treat themselves. And if they don't respect themselves, if they don't like themselves, then they're never going to know how to love you correctly. So yeah, I did say train. We both know I am not the one for you. So I think that like maybe again, they're starting to like feel really strong about this connection where I feel like you're seeing like everything that you went through and where you want to go, that maybe that they're not the one. But I think that that's just your subconscious mind. Again, how when we're in a situation where we love somebody but they've hurt us and then their life doesn't look good on top of it, we have to come to a place of, is this person going to give me the life that I want to have with all this that they're wrapped up in? I'm going to pull one more from this deck because I have a feeling that that was just fear. Fear. I can't stop thinking about you. So I'm feeling almost like Gemini that 1 second you don't want to be with this person, the next second you do want to be with this person. Yes, you know that there's intense chemistry, but no, you don't like what they've done and your life is different. So you're torn in a lot of different ways. So how can we deal with this? Because let's ask, what are they going to do? Are they going to do anything? Because let's get to the juice. So I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Like, it's like, are they going to do anything, or are they just going to stay in the dark night of the soul? Are they going to like be coward? I mean, obviously, I know that they have feelings, but it's just because a person has feelings, they might not know how to express those feelings. This person is not on a very high vibration, so they might not be somebody that's good at articulating their feelings. And so let's see. Indecision, delays, postponement, seeing the truth, lies being exposed. This is what I'm saying. I'm like saying that I feel like that's you, that there's indecision. And so you would delay it. That's what I felt. But what are they going to do? Because I know that they're coming back. But I also feel like maybe there's a little bit of fear with them. Like, I want you, but I don't know how difficult it is going to be to get back into your good graces. What is that? I gotta like, inability to move forward. Yeah, see, like this person is stuck in fear. So they plan on coming to you, and I say that because it's death backwards, but when this person, again, you two have a very strong ESP connection, and this person would stay in that frame for a long period of time. I feel like, and almost until you move forward, and because they will feel when you move forward, because you will detach your energy, because they are afraid and they can't do it really on their own. So when are they coming? Because I know that they want to come, because it's saying inability to move forward. Unrequited love, heartbroken, manipulator, one night stand. So it's, again, I feel like this person is stuck with that karmic. And that sucks. It's like, because there's a lot of love here. However, this person is not strong, and there's a sense of the indecision whether they should move forward because they're terrified to leave. So there's a sense of, maybe I'll have a one night stand. Maybe I'll just get, which is how this person lived, which is why this person has gotten into this situation now, because they weren't just greedy with material things. They were greedy with how they treated other people. So even though they had a real spiritual connection to you, they didn't feed the relationship. What they did was they just had one night stands, because the Knight of Cups reversed is that also, for another side message that I'm getting for some other of you, that the ones that, again, that, because some of you, I feel like, again, they're I would rather just have a one night stand, so not to build any more emotional connection, because they don't trust relationships because of the fact of what has transpired in their life. So they're bringing this baggage into, again, every other relationship. So they know that they couldn't do that with you. And another one is the fact that, what was I going to say? Spirit, you just told me the other one, is that you just don't want to be with them at all. You just don't want to be with them because you don't trust them. You feel like they would just, again, be a manipulator, try to get what they want. And, and that's exactly what they would do, because the Knight of Cups comes, that's reversed, comes in with no plan of anything. There's no plan. There's no foresight. They would leave information out, again, to shade a picture. So again, because they are not strong, they will say that they have done healing. They have not done healing. They have not done healing. Now I'm mad, because it's like they care, and so they've thought about this, but this is what they come up with, which is they're saying, I don't know if I can raise my vibration high enough. It may be easier just to stay in this mess. But then I don't really care who else I hurt, because I'm still going to go out and have one night stands. And that might even be with you. I may even come towards you and, again, try to offer you something. It's, again, nope, because they know if they do, it's not going to happen. But because they're always there's a lot of conflict at home between the karmic and them. They're always fighting. They don't get along. So it's, again, be careful, because I feel like your person may decide to come running towards you with all this scattered energy, because they don't really know what they want. They're indecisive because of too much love loss. and not knowing who they are, having no identity. So what are they leaving into? It's in their mind. Remember, the mind is all about survival. So in their mind, it's better to stay in a miserable situation and know what you have and just be uncomfortable than it is to go and take a chance with someone that you love, because love never works out. Love never works out because it's always codependent. So I'm going to leave it there, Gemini. Let me know whether you resonated with this. I love comments, so be interactive. And if you want to win a reading, write the word grieve in your comment bar, along with liking and subscribing to the channel. That will get you into winning a free psychic reading with me. But I do the raffle, so you're not automatically going to get it, but it gets you in it gets you into entering a free reading. So I like to do the raffle at the end of the night. All right. So I hope to see you all. I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.